All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Dr. Robb Kelly, who is a sought-after recovery expert. Dr. Robb, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you, Timmy?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. And we like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Sure. My name is Dr. Robb Kelly. They call me the addiction doctor. Been around for a few years. Although I live in San Antonio, Texas, but as you can tell by the voice, I'm from England, Manchester, where that famous football team is. And I work with alcoholics and addicts and people with trauma, life trauma itself. We have 4 offices around the world. I'm a very sought after expert, as you know, TV, books, everything out there you could imagine. We take on 4 patients at any one time. And I used to be a musician. Well, I kind of still am, but not in the depth. So, in my height, what I do for fun is play guitar. My office is kind of weird because it's actually a music room and office. I've got drums over there. I've got 9, 10 guitars there, violins, PA systems all around me. So, yeah, I enjoy music and it calms me down a little bit.
There we go. There we go. So you're an addiction doctor in San Antonio from England, and you play guitar in your free time.
Yes, I used to be the bass player at the studio bass player Abbey Road in London, the very famous Abbey Road. Played with Elton John, Queen, David Bowie, all them guys. Met Dr. Dre. Just it just goes on and on my musical stuff. So yeah, I still love it. I listen to all kinds of music, but rap, old school 80s rap, not the stuff we have today. Although it's good, but the 80s and 90s stuff, going back to Dre and all them guys, they love that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That is awesome. You've had quite an eventful life, it seems.
Yeah, yeah. I remember an old man telling me outside school one day, he was sat on the bench waiting for a bus, and I say old, I don't know how old he was probably 70s. And I was a kid, 12, 13 years old. And I always remember what he said to me. And he said, life goes too fast, son. Do everything you can and enjoy everything to make sure that when you get to 70 or 80, you'll never regret not having done anything. And that's what I do. I especially after coming off the streets with the addiction, like there's nothing I won't challenge now because my answer is what can you do to me? What can you do to me that hasn't already been done? So I take chances and I enjoy life.
Yeah, I love it. Well, tell us about your motivation. What really gets you up and keeps you going every day?
Helping others, would you believe? I've been through such a traumatic time myself that I want to help others. I really do. So getting up in the morning, complimenting people. I monetary, because God's allowed me to do this, I monetary bless somebody every time I leave the house. I'm always complimenting people. My office staff are always happy. And if there's a problem, we sort it out between us. And, just giving in my experience to other people and helping families put their life back together on. It's amazing. I also have 3 English bulldogs, which are fantastic. So all that gets me up out of bed every morning, singing at 6 a.m.
There we go. There we go. I love the energy. I love the energy. Well, tell us about dreams and goals. I know you've done a lot, but what is your vision for your life and your practice moving forward?
Well, I've kind of done everything. When I came to America, they said you can't be on TV. I did that. You can't write a book, did that. You can't open, did that. I work with some of the highest performing sports stars, the highest paid actors in the world, film, movies, everything that you can imagine. I've worked, they've come through my practice. But I would like to leave a legacy, and that legacy is this. I see a big difference between people that can afford treatment and people that can't. And although everybody's important, I was one of the guys that couldn't afford it when I was on the streets. Before that, I could. I was wealthy, and then I lost everything, ended up on the streets, and I couldn't afford it. And I think everybody should have access to recovery and a new way of life, and families being put back together again. So I'm visualizing in San Antonio a 100-bed rehabilitation center for alcohol, drugs, and trauma victims. 50 beds will be paid, and 50 beds we will take in free, and we will pro bono them right through the 3-month contract.
I gotcha. I gotcha. So 100-bed rehabilitation center, 50 paid, 50 free. And is it, you said alcoholics, drug addicts, just anybody in recovery?
Yeah, anybody in recovery, everyone trauma. Trauma is the gateway drug. Everyone says marijuana is, it's not, it's trauma. And I also, which with my next one, which is coming to fruition now, Timmy, is a British tea shop in San Antonio. Not an English tea shop run by Americans selling fries, but a real proper English tea shop selling teas and all the English food together, high teas and stuff like that. So we started looking at premises for that last week.
There we go. That is exciting.
I know. It's awesome. Absolutely crazy.
I'm
It's
right in
crazy.
Austin. San Antonio is not too far.
It's a 2 hour drive. It's
Yeah.
nothing.
My fiance was actually down in San Antonio this past week for she does some educational consulting work. And so, yeah, just right on.
Next time you're down, you guys hit us up. We'll take you for a 6 hour day that will blow your mind.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll definitely hold you to that. Well, awesome. So we got the leaving a legacy for people, and that's happening in the 100-bed rehabilitation center and the English tea shop. Is there any other dreams or goals that you want to chat about?
I don't think so right now. I'm so blessed. I've literally got everything and done everything and have everything that I want. I've worked very, very hard in the industry and out. We give $150,000 back to the homeless and people wanting to get back in recovery a year out of our own pockets. We also have my book on sale. Every single dime, any that's spent, not the profit, every dime that's spent on that book is added to that $150,000 a year donations to people that that come to us that need help. So I live the dream. I drive a $200,000 car. I live in $1 million house. We bless everybody. 20% of our work is pro bono. We're always giving back, and I have a great life. I mean, there's nothing I want or need. So my vision, if it was to go larger, and you hear this all the time, but I truly mean it. If people can be kinder to each other, the world will change. So for you guys at home, how can we change the world? Just do that. If we're not changing the world, what are we doing? We're just getting up every morning surviving. What's the point in that? Especially alcoholics. If you want to get well and start helping others, great. If you don't, you might as well go drink yourself to death. What else is this to do? Tell people that all the time. Live the dream instead of dreaming of living. Because that's what I did when I was on the streets. I was dreaming of just having a normal life. Now I've taken it to excess. And it's absolutely amazing. Live life on life's terms.
I love it. Yeah, I'm such a big fan of getting up to impact people, getting up to be kind, getting up to change the world. Because not only is it like that whole dreaming of living, like those are the things we dream of. Like we dream of impacting people. Those are the places we get fulfillment. And so if you're doing anything else, you're just kind of barely living, or not living at all. And it's just a tragic way to spend your time,
I see people all the time, wealthy people like me, and they never give anything back. They haven't got time for anybody and live in this world of what? You've got some money in the bank, big deal. Your life, you get up in the morning, you sit and watch TV, you're miserable. It's like, that's not what life's about. Life's about changing people's lives. And when we do that, I have a great one that I always tell my patients is when you're out and there's a lot of people around, pick one person that has something cool on. Sneakers are always the best. This is the reason why. Walk past them and go, hey, man, nice sneakers. And they'll go, oh, thank you, man. Thank you. When he carries on walking, watch him. He'll look down at his sneakers 2 or 3 times while he's walking. So you've just made his day. Guess what? When he goes home to his girlfriend or wife, he's in a great mood. And all of a sudden, the girlfriend or wife's in a great mood. Now you've affected 2 people. Then the mother calls the daughter to have a chat. Well, because she's in a good mood, the mother's now in a good mood that tells the dad who's in a good, and he just ripples through the community. And all of you said was nice sneakers.
Yeah, 2 seconds of your time.
Yes.
And just a genuine compliment. And I love it. Well, awesome. What are the top 1 to 2 skills that you need to develop in order to get to your dream of that 100-bed rehabilitation center or the English tea shop?
The English tea shop is under wraps. It's going. My sister's relocating to England. Sorry, from San Antonio, from England. And she arrives November. So she's going to be running it mainly with her husband. So I think that's a go. That's going to happen no matter what. We're just going to make sure that happens. The bed, it all comes down to finances and donations and stuff like that. So we started a 5013C. It's going through at the moment, called the Robb Kelly Foundation. and donations into that will build the 100-bed unit. And yeah, I mean, everything I do today, Tim, it's not a thought. The way the brain works and the neuroscience that we use here, it's a guaranteed deal. If we decide we're going to do something, we're going to do. We don't take no for an answer. We're very much believers in quantum physics. Once you can see something, hold it in your, visualize it, you can hold it in your hand. We have choices of where we want to be every day. The only reason that people are not millionaires or successful or good fathers is because you can't visualize yourself being there. Quantum physics tells us, let's say a basketball court. Quantum physics tells me I could be 25 places at the same time because nothing is solid on a basketball court. 25 places. Where do I visualize myself? I'm selfish. I want to be near the goal. Never played basketball. Get the ball, bang it in the net. I want to be the hero of the game. The question begs, how do I get there? And the answer is the same, guys. Walk over and take that position. Boom. End of story. Don't crawl for it. Don't beg for it. Walk over and take it. It's a reality. And this is where people think it's not that easy. It really is that easy to do stuff like this.
Yeah, I love that. I love the quantum physics spin on it because we often hear about the law of attraction and we often hear about, affirmations and all that stuff. But when it's backed by quantum physics, like there are many books out there that show the connection. And so, yeah.
The problem with human beings today, and especially the guys I've worked with, is we attract what we think we are worth. We don't attract what we are worth. And many of our patients for the first time of the session will come on and I will say, if we could swap places for 3 minutes right now, all your life problems will be solved because you don't see who you are. And that's the problem with society. My friend was clearing out a relative's house and he found an old photograph of me and him, like black and white, when we were both bodybuilders and, stuff like that, about 17, 18 years old. And he went, Rob, check this out. I'm like, what? He said, look at this photograph. And he showed me the photograph. And I'm like, oh my God, look at the size of my arms. We looked amazing. God, we were good looking. Our waists were thin. And he said, I know, right? Those were the days, Rob. And I went, yeah, but we didn't know it then. We didn't know that those were the days. And he said to me, Rob, what if today's one of those days? And it blew my mind. I'm like, oh my God, you've got to live for now and go for your dreams and never look back. And, the brain is, we study neuroscience. That's our ticket. That's what separates us from anybody else because we offer a money back guarantee on a rehab place, which is nobody else does that in the world. But it's because you need to know how the brain works, how we attract things, how you can have things, how the hypothalamus and the basal ganglia work, the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala all work together to create this human being that can go out and do these amazing things. But we only attract what we think we are worth. And that's the biggest problem. I can't go for that because learned behavior from childhood tells me that mom and dad used to work in a cleaning company. And that's what I'm supposed to do because I've been with them cleaning. That's what it's like, no, you can change learned behavior. You can change enmeshment passed down from family to family to family. You can change them neural pathways to change into successful neural pathways. It's neuroscience. It's proven. Neuroplasticity, I specialize in. That's what it's called. I can take anybody in the world and change him into a world changer within 90 days, period. That's it. Otherwise, I'll send you money back. What's wrong with you? It's like you have to visualize this stuff and then go for it. And I've worked with over 7,600 people over the 30 years I've been doing this, and not one has failed. Because this is about changing people and changing lives.
I love it. So what are the highest impact daily actions? So you said finances and donations for your 501c3 are the top things that kind of need to happen for the dream to come true. What are the daily actions that take you towards, maximizing those finances, maximizing those donations outside of, I guess, well, tell us how you walk through the process of A, seeing it, and then B, how that translates into daily action.
Well, I truly believe, I'm a spiritual guy. I don't go to church, but I'm a spiritual guy. There are 27,000 gods. Just pick one, I was told. So I'll pick one, my own concept of God. And I believe that in any journey, and this has also been proven scientifically, that there is an energy and a spiritual connection to something up there. Uncle Bill, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, there's a spiritual being. So we started to study that. And we find out once you have a neural pathway change, once you are connected with a spiritual being of some kind, which I think everybody fundamentally is at birth, then my DNA changed. When my DNA changed, I wasn't that crazy alcoholic, homeless, killing people almost. And I was this new person that had this connection of power that flows in. So the vision of this bed and the vision of everything we've had is kind of, I live that every day. We used to have a little office on the 7th floor of a medical building in Highland Park in Dallas, very, very, posh. And every day I walked out, there was a huge, it's like 6 offices all in one unit. And I turned the corner and went into my office, which was 12 by 12. And every day I got off, I visualized walking into that office. And I'd walk up to the door and pretend to open. It was closed. I did that for 3 months solid. I went, oh, it's closed. I did that for 3 months solid. And then one day my assistant came down and said, hey, the guys have offered you that office next door, half the rent, but you get the first year free. I'm like, we'll take it. And there's no way could we have afforded that. It was like 10 grand a month, and we were just starting up and we took it. So that, if you want to be a millionaire, start acting like one. If you want to be a boss at work, start acting like one. When you walk out, you've got to hold your head up high. You've got to, don't slump. You've got to imagine that you are the man, period. And everybody will respect you. There was a study done back in the UK at a school. The age group of the school between 8 and 11. And a scientific research lab went into that school and said, hey, listen, headmaster and staff, we have developed a test, an exam, that when the children take it, we can tell the top 3 people in your school that are going to go on to be captains of industries, multi-billionaires, And they said, there's no way can you do that? So we can. So they brought the test in the next day. Everybody sat the test, took about 40 minutes. All the kids did it, 40 kids, 40 children, filled in the test, and they went away. They come back the next day, and they said, we have you top 3. I go, well, our teacher's like, oh, yeah, I need to hear this because I know Billy will be there. Billy. Okay, what's the first one? Tony. Tony? You mean, yeah, Tony. Oh, okay. Okay, what's the next one? Jane. Jane. Really? We promise you that's going to be it. The third one's Jimmy. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. He said, we'll be back in 12 months' time to see how these kids are going. 12 months' time, they came back. Headmaster walked in with all the staff and he sat down and said, how did you do it? And the scientific lab said, how did we do what? How did you pick them top 3? Because the first 2 you picked, there's no way would we have, how did you know? And what he said was mind-blowing. He said, actually, we didn't know. The tests and exams that they took, we threw them back in the trash when we got home to the lab. And we give you 3 random names in school, 3 random names we picked out of our hat. And because we picked them 3 names and told you they'll be captains of industry and multi-billionaires, so you started treating them that way. And because you treat it that way, so they become. I'm like, boom, what? Yeah, that's that part of taking it. You want to do something, act like you've already got it. I've never seen it not work in all the people I've worked with. It's like, law of attraction, we attract what we think we are worth. Everybody listening to podcasts, first of all, you're not listening by mistake. I want to put that out there. I'm just telling you that for instance. And secondly, this is your wake-up call. This is your chance. I was going to start that podcast, but, Billy said he's not ready. Start it. Start it on your own. Go out there, do it. 7.3 seconds is the magic code, guys. This is what we come up with. In the first 7.3 seconds of anything you want to do, you have to make an attempt. So if I want to go to the gym tomorrow and I'm sat on my couch eating potato chips and I go, something, I'll go to the gym tomorrow. Within 7.3 seconds, get up, walk to the bedroom, put my sneakers and my clothes into a bag, walk to the garage, put it on the garage door. The next morning you will go. If you want to start a podcast, but your friend is messing around or you're too nervous, walk to the computer, do something. Podcast start tomorrow on Facebook, post it, it's done. The next day you'll follow through. It's just about knowing how far you can really go. And I'm telling you now, you will never believe how far you can go. You will never believe it.
I love that story you just told, mostly
Mm.
because it just excites me. It excites me to like when you treat somebody differently, like not only are we so each human gets what they think they're worth, but then we also tend to treat people A like what they think they're worth, and then B how what we think they're worth. And
Yes.
so many of us project our own limiting beliefs and limiting thoughts onto people, and it's not helping their situation at all. And
No.
so I just love that
Break the
story.
mold. Break the mold. If you've got a plan B, guys, forget it. Forget plan A. It's never going to work.
Mm,
No plan B. Plan A only. I remember meeting Arnold Schwarzenegger in England many years ago when he was just did Pumping Iron, underground movie. Nobody knew who he was. He'd won the Mr. Olympia. He was doing some stuff in Manchester because we were bodybuilders with the association we belonged to. We picked him up at the airport and we had to keep him airport to show for 3 days. I remember sat with Arnold in a room of a nice hotel, and I was intrigued with him because of the mind. And I said to him, "Oh, okay, Arnold, you've got an amazing physique, but tell me something. When all this goes, what are you going to do? He doesn't pay much now." And he said these three things, and he said, "I have three things that I'm going to do." In real broken English, by the way, we were kind of laughing. He said, "The first one is I'm going to become the highest paid movie star in the world." Well, we're like, "Arnold, no disrespect, but you can't freaking talk English. There's no way you're going to do that." Check. Next, he said, "I'm going to become a governor of a state and preferably in California." We're like, "Yeah, good luck with that. I didn't even know you could be a governor if you wasn't a citizen because you come from Graz in Austria." And the third one, oh, Timmy, the third one, he says, "I'm going to marry into the Kennedy family." Check, check, and check. How did he know? Because he was already living it. He was already visualizing that. He was already there and already doing it. And it's unbelievable when we really know. And I got 1,000 true stories like that where people have just, changed the world. If you don't get up in the morning, you're not changing the world. Go back to bed, get drunk, do whatever you got to do because you're a waste of time. Anybody can change the world. It's all insight and it's all state of mind. That's what it is.
yeah, I love it. Well, if there were one or two people that you could meet right now, and this could be a specific person or a type of person, and they'd really help you take that next step towards these dreams and goals, who would they be and how would they help?
Well, it's funny because I answered differently, but I had to think about that question. Keep an open mind, guide of what I'm about to say. Hitler, and I'll tell you why Hitler. What he did, horrible. Not even talking about that. What I'm talking about is how did that man hold a country in the palm of his hands? You've been on Facebook, you've been on social media, everything. You can't get millions of people overnight. He did. And he kept them there. And I would like to pick his brains about that only, that side of him, by just being able to do that, because that is an absolute gift. It really is. And I'd say the same, second one would be Trump. I don't like him as a politician. That's just my personal view. But I love him as a businessman because he uses neuroscience to a certain degree. It's like when he was on the stage with all them other contenders, and they were all there, and he started calling people names. And this was like the second debate. And the minute he did that, I turned around to my wife and I said, "He's won it. He's won it. He's going to be president." And there's no, it's impossible. He can't do it. He was so clever. And it's horrible bringing somebody down. I'd never do it. I used to do it when I was drunk, but the way he manipulated the mindset of everybody on the stage was mind blowing.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think those two responses will actually come out in a question we're going to ask later. But for now, we're jumping into our thriving three. So the first question is, what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
Let's go for a book because the Alcoholics Anonymous has a blue book. They call it the Big Book, and it's full of how to recover from alcoholism. And I say that as my best book on educational surfaces because it's one of the best pieces of literature, and I studied for 27 years to be who I am regarding neuroscience that I've ever read. So I would definitely say that was definitely intriguing, and yeah, that would be my first choice book every single time. I think just for educational purposes.
Love it. And what's one way you like to take care of yourself?
Music has always been at my heart, but I do hit the gym every 3 days. I'm 61 now. I've lost almost 100 pounds in the last 12 months. Going to the gym and stuff like that, eating properly, because I wanted to be, and here's the mindset again, the best 60-year-old around, in shape and everything like that. And I think I've got there. I'm not 100% sure, but when I see people my age in the gym or around town or speak to somebody, 61-year-olds out there, no, they don't look anything like me, and they don't have the passion that I have, and they're just being alive every single day, and having this amazing life. It's like I want to make sure that I nourish the body and the brain. And the third one I'll sneak in there is oxygen, because oxygen is just being looked into scientifically. But we've seen, Gary Brecker's a friend of mine, and when any disease or cancers or tumors in the body, when oxygen is present, none of them can grow any further. We only breathe 25% of our lung capacity. Imagine breathing 100% when oxygen is present. No other disease or illnesses can go any further than they are. So I'll make sure I do that every morning as well.
That is so interesting that you said that, because I remember Wim Hof when COVID came out. He was like, shoot me with the virus and I'll stop it in my body within like 30 seconds with deep breathing.
Yes.
And he was 100% confident in that fact, which was crazy to me. It blew my mind.
Yeah. The oxygen is very powerful. I always carry, we do our boost every single morning and every afternoon. It's a pure oxygen thing. The brain alive, the body's alive. And, it's a game changer for me. It's a game changer.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. And what is one action step you can take right now or continue to take? If you're already doing it too, have that conversation with Trump to understand kind of how he uses neuroscience and influence in his life.
I think I know for a fact that I could possibly get to him eventually, emailing or calling, because I have worked for the government. I have worked at high level with them guys. So I would I'm hoping one day maybe that blown out the water with what I'm doing. And so far I'm more advanced than any other people's doing that. We're going to get, they'll call me one day. I truly believe that. And I'm visualizing the call, and I'm visualizing me sitting down one day and making sure that I ask that question. I visualize going on the Joe Rogan show, and apparently January is when I'm on. No contact, didn't pay to get on there, just visualized it. And apparently my guys telling me it's happening in January. So powerful. I will definitely ask that question one day.
That's amazing. You're gonna be on the Joe Rogan show in January? I'll make sure to tune into that episode.
I'm gonna mention you. Now, this might be a good podcast, Joe, but let me tell you about Timmy Douglas's podcast. Life with Love. Let's do it, guys.
I love it. I love it. Well, now we're going to jump into our final series of questions. And I'm actually curious to see how you answer some of these. I didn't send them beforehand. They can get a little personal. So if you don't want to answer, you can just pass. That's totally fine. I'm going to ask them now. The first one is, what is one limiting belief that continues to pop up in your life, if any?
One limited belief that won't leave me alone is never seeing my youngest daughter again. It keeps coming up that it's not going to happen. And the limited belief around that, every time it pops up, it gets lower and lower and lower. And I'm kind of living that right now, but I keep hope. Now, I must say, just add to that real quick, that my eldest daughter, who was taken off me at the age of 3, and I'm not seen for 29, 30 years or something, contacted me 3 years ago on Messenger. And we met, and phenomenal meeting. And then I met my 3-month-old granddaughter. And about a year ago, she became my lead therapist in my British Manchester office. So yeah, limited belief is the youngest daughter, I think.
I got you. And do you have 2 daughters, or do you have more children?
2 daughters, yeah. I have 2 daughters.
Gotcha. And so, do you think that fear of never seeing your youngest daughter again comes from the relationship you have with the older? Does it come from a past event? Where does it come from?
It comes from the trauma regarding that situation, that I don't deserve to see, all of them, because Mom still doesn't forgive me. And I agree with her. I did some horrible things. So it's hard to fight that belief. When it comes, I'm just like, well, maybe this is one that's not going to happen. So, I have to keep strong about that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Do you have any actions that reinforce that belief? Maybe they happen on a daily, weekly, monthly, or once or twice a year, but you have that thought, you have that belief. It makes you feel something, and then you act based on those beliefs and feelings.
I believe that I'm doing the right thing with other people, with other families. People think we're in the addiction industry. We're not. We're in the putting back families together industry. So I've reunited so many families. Seven, like I said, out of the 7,500 patients, maybe 4,000 of them, we put families back together, me and my team. That somebody up there, God, Universe, Uncle Jimmy, will see fit for this as a reward coming towards the end of my career or something. That's the one step that keeps me hoping that I'm doing the right thing today. I really am, and hopefully that will come to fruition.
Gotcha. So no actions really stemming from the limiting belief, but more the flip side, the abundant
Yes.
belief of like, I'm going to put families together. Your action stems
Yes.
from that.
Yes. Definitely.
I love it. I love it. And if you were to change that limiting belief, never seeing your youngest daughter again, into an abundant phrase that really spoke to your heart, what would that phrase be?
That's a great question. Um, Families reunite when they reunite has purpose. I think I'd go around that couple of lines. When it has purpose, when you have love, when it has depth and weight, when you're not just, she doesn't come to you for money and I don't go to her just to get in contact. When it comes together as a love bonding exercise, I think that's it for me. I think.
I really like that. That is
Mm.
a really good answer. Families reunite when the reunification has purpose, love, depth, and weight.
Yes. It sounds better when you say it, but yeah, definitely. That sounded awesome. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. But yeah, you said it better than me, but truly, truly believe in that. Definitely.
There we go. There we go. I love it. Last question about limiting beliefs. When you feel that belief start to take over, the never seeing your youngest daughter again, what thoughts or actions do you resort to in order to take back control and refocus on abundance?
Well, it's down to neural pathways for me, the 7.3 seconds rule of any self-sabotaging thought, and that would be a self-sabotaging thought as failure. I have actually a band which I snap, a rubber band snap that I wear during the day that's redirects neural pathways away from that thought pattern. So it brings me back up again. So, and I'm always asking my daughter how mom is and how, her sister is, I'm keeping them lines open. I'm just keeping my heart open, and seeing what can happen. But I do feel, very positive about it. And I do think that bonding will take place once again.
There we go. And we got one last question for you. You ready?
Awesome.
Here we go. So I want to frame it before I ask it. So Alex Hormozy said that the difference between manipulation and help is intent. And he was getting at the fact that when you're influencing people in both situations, manipulation is more about there's something I want you to do and I'm going to get you to do it. And then help is more about figuring out what they want to do and then helping them get to where they want to be. Now, there's a common saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I actually found out from Dr. Alan Leica, who is a guest on the show, that you can make horses drink. You just have to salt their oats. Now, I want you to think of a person with a really fixed mindset, not willing to accept help, not willing to accept change, but they hate their life. They're discontent with where they're at. How can we, you and I, create an environment to salt their oats and help them change their life?
Wow. After 2,000 podcasts, I think that's the best question ever. Nobody's asked that. Wow. I truly believe salting it oats. Never heard that before. That sounds brilliant. I'm with you. But it's all about level of consciousness and the way you look at things today. Most people come to me in that state. There's no doubt about that. And it's about showing somebody what life's about. It's about showing somebody that they can do certain things. It's about, and this is the big one to me, it's about exciting people that they can do this. It's just, it's going in with the whole deal, going, here's my life. I'm willing to take you along, and whatever happens, you will not fail. Now, when people hear that, something happens in their mind. that changes that little thought pattern. What? Why is this guy taking interest in me? What he says I can do this, and then we go out and make that happen. Case in point, we had a young guy in Dallas that was working with, and he's 24, 25, never had a girlfriend, couldn't speak to girls, very, very shy, had an alcohol problem, didn't think he was going to amount to anything or anything like that. And this is what we did. I will do anything to make you believe that you can do something. So I hired an Irish bar in Dallas, Trinity Hall, and me and the owner are good friends. So we kind of hired an area. And what we did is I brought 12 girls in, all paid for, friends of friends who were paid for to come in as actresses. And we sat them at all the tables, drinking and eating. When we walked in about 30 minutes after everyone was settled, looked like a normal pub. Just looked like a normal pub. So I went to the bar and I said to this guy, okay, so when I talk about women and talk about that you personally can attract anybody, let me prove a point. And I said, look around. And I said, if you, in a real world of I can't say his name, what girlfriend would you pick? Straight away, the blonde girl over there. She's same age as me, 26, 24. She's beautiful. And I grabbed him by the arm and we walked over. And he was like, no. And we sat down. Now she's all clued in. And a friend is all clued in. And this guy he loves Mustangs. So we went over and we sat down. And I said, hey, girls, you don't mind, do you? Just want to come over. I'll buy everything. Just come over to chat. And they said, of course, they knew. So no, sit down. So they sat down. And the first girl said, hey, listen, I just need to go and check the car. I'm not leaving my Mustang out there without, And he went, what? You drive a Mustang? That's all it took to me. So them two were talking all night. We ate, we paid, we left them alone for a bit. They were never going to date, but he had that much confidence when he come home. He was buzzing all the way home. 3 days later, he asked a girl on a date in a pub. It worked out and they got married. I don't care what I have to do. You are going to see the real you. You are going to see how easy it is to live your best life ever. And whatever I've got to do, I will do. I will do. And you can change minds so quickly. We had what Texas is like in Dr. Pepper? Oh, my God, it's like angel. Don't just speak to me about Coke. We had a guy coming in, and this was for a magazine. And we asked him if he would take place. And he said, yeah, didn't know what it was about. Came in every morning. Okay, Dr. Pepper, please. My staff got Dr. Pepper every morning, without fail, doesn't drink Coke. So we took him out. My driver took him out. Down in the elevator, they came out. We put a poster of Coca-Cola on the wall on the left-hand side that he just walked through. Didn't see it, peripheral vision only. We got him in the car and he said, we're just going to drive you around Dallas, show you the sights. We drove him past 4 billboards of Coca-Cola. And then he had a tape that he was playing in the car that had a Coca-Cola commercial on it. We got back to the offices and we had left a discarded Coke can on the side so we could see the name as he got into the elevator. When he walked in the office, my assistant said, what do you want to drink? And he said, give me a Coke. Boom. End of story. So I can change any mind. I can rewire somebody's brain within around 2 to 3 weeks and then permanently rewire that for success. Period. That's it. That's what I do, and that for me is creating lives and families. That is putting back families together, because now the guy going in the bar has got the confidence to ask somebody else, what else can he do that he's not had the confidence to do? Because I know when I got my first girlfriend, I knew I could crush the world. I could do anything because I had this new partner. It was a great feeling. And you can do anything you want, and you literally can, You might need a push from me, or if anybody else does that, because some people say that's a bit dangerous. I'm like, nope, it was awesome. And I don't care what Texas board said or anything like that. I don't care. We are saving lives and building communities here. So
I love it. That's awesome. So how do you come up with these ideas? Like, both of those instances were very different. Like, one, you kind of curated a whole bar and like there were 12 women in there specifically for that guy. And then the other, it was just kind of like little impressions of Coke here and there. How do you come up with like the specific situation for that person that will help them take that next step?
I think it's going into their beliefs, the basal ganglia, repetition, strength and confirm part of the brain. And we find out what would be your best life. So if I have a magic wand now and I was to wave it, what would you ask for? I'd ask for the girlfriend, I'd ask for a house, I'd ask for the CEO, I'd ask for this. Then what we do, none of our programs are the same. They're all built around the actual patient. That's why we only take on 4 to 6 patients at any one time for 90 days. And we build a program around his. And I think, okay, I've spoken to this guy 6 or 7 times because it's a daily program, 1 hour a day for 90 days. And I get to build a character around him. And then I look at how can we place or how can we put things in place that this guy's going to notice, but doesn't know we're doing it. So he thinks it's either fake or really is that good. Then we bombard him from the minute he walks through the door. One of my girls will go over and go, hey, wow, have you lost weight or something? Hey, Mark, whoa, look at them shoes, man. Where'd you get them shoes from, John? Oh, yeah, I got whatever it is before they get into my office. They're a 10 out of 10 on the happiness scale. Okay, yeah. So let's say they wanted to be a manager of a store, but there was only the assistant. We would actually call him a manager when he walked in. We go something like, hey, you could be manager of this, John. You've got that many skills. You could manage all of this. Thought patterns been placed already. Okay, so now we can kind of visualize it because repetition strengthens and confirms that idea on a daily basis. And what happens, we look for the job he wants. Then we go hunting. Sorry, guys, this might be inside information. Some people might hate me for this. We go hunting the CEO of that company. And then we get our guy to contact him through Messenger. So he's straight into the desk with no reception. There's nothing. Get our conversation going. Find out if he's into golf. Say the CEO's into golf. He's a golf player. See it all on his Facebook. Get my guy to contact him and say, hey, I noticed you like golf. I played at the Open or something like that. Connection made. The mirroring part of the brain joins, click. That's a conversation that will get him the job. So all sneaky stuff like that, because the end result is proving my point that I don't care who you are. I will rewire your brain and turn you into that person that you want to be. End of story. Boom, baby.
Boom, baby. I love it. Well, awesome. Dr. Robb, that's all we got for you. So is there anything else that you want to chat about before we start?
Oh, God, yeah. Let's stay till midnight. Listen, so I want to say a couple of things that I usually say on good podcasts. So obviously I love this podcast. So if you're one of them guys at home and you're listening to this, or girls at home, and you're getting quite desperate and you're drinking and using, or you don't think you amount to anything, you don't think you're going to improve in life, or you're just stuck in a rut. First of all, I want to apologize to you because somebody's put that there. We are born with $1 million minds. Why do you hang around with 10-cent minds? Okay. So if you're one of them guys, there is a way out. So here's what I do. People go, oh, it's good that you give back, Dr. Robb. That's awesome. I give more than back. So if you're in that place, if you're in that rut, I will give you a 10-minute pep talk that will change your life. And you know something? If it doesn't, I'll refund your money and give that book to somebody else, first of all. Okay? All right, I've got to ring the office. Here's my personal cell phone number. It's 214-600-0210. Text me. Always best to text and I'll call you back. And I mean, how many people text me? I will change your day in 10 minutes. I'm never going to try and sell you anything. I think we're booked up until 2026. But as my part of giving back and me knowing I can change your life, text, let me call you for 10, 15 minutes and I'll change your perspective on life and I'll change your direction on life, period. I want to say that. And the second, when they took my children off me, Timmy, I'd got them back off my wife the day before because she'd left. And I remember going in the kitchen, putting them in front of the TV and opening the fridge and having one beer. 3 days later, the police kicked the door down. The children not been fed for 2 days or changed diapers. And I was drinking constantly. So they took my children off me. And when there was police there, caregivers, there was authorities there. The wife was there with her mom. And my daughter says 3 things when she's walking down the path. She says, Daddy, Daddy, please don't go. And because she's walking with Mommy's hand up here, and then she turned around again halfway down. She says, Daddy, Daddy, please get better. And as they got to the gate, they opened this big gate on our house, and she turned around one more time and says, Daddy, Daddy, please stop drinking. That's the name of the book, Daddy, Daddy, please stop drinking. We don't take a dime from that book. not one dime. You know all the time, don't you? Well, the profits go to charity. That means after everybody's had their bit, 1 cent of the dollar will go to charity. Every single dime spent on that book goes back out into the communities around America and England. So it's a great book to buy. It's on the website, robbkelly.com, ROBBKELLY.com. Jump on there. You'll see me on TV. You'll see all my radio stuff, my podcasts, and educational stuff. You know, I just literally, personally want to help. So the company is this. It's my best friend. She's my psychotherapist, lives in England. My daughter, Charlie. My sister, Sandra. My wife and her best friend run the company. Let my family help your family. And if you're a wife of somebody who's struggling, because everyone forgets about the family. What about the family? As a wife or girlfriend, or if it's the other way around, you can call my staff. Usually my wife takes that call 20 times a day for the next 10 years. We will never charge you. We just want to help you. So if you're in that place, you don't know where to turn, what do I do? Call the company, call the office, get transferred to my wife. My wife will spend all the time in the world with you to give you a direction on what can happen and what the best route for you to take is. And people think we're crazy when we do that. And people think we're crazy when we offer a money back guarantee. This isn't about the money. It never was about the money. This is about us having something that nobody else has got that we want to give away. You know, and as much knowledge is power. The more knowledge you get about trauma, homelessness, addiction, food, sex, porn, whatever it is, the more information you know how your brain is responding to that and why you are addicted to that becomes very powerful. And once we change that in you, you know, and for the wives and girlfriends, you need the information to talk through your nights when you cry yourself to sleep, the nights when you worry yourself to death. You know, you need someone to speak to. Let us be that person. Let us be that company that walks you through this hand in hand. And all we want from you is for you to live your best life, because for us, that's paid in full.
I love it. I love it. Well, Dr. Robb, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Some great questions, by the way. I'm still blown away with some of them questions. It's amazing. You're an amazing guy, man. And your podcast is amazing. And, you know, me and you are going to meet very soon because
Let's do it.
and actual fast 2 weeks time I'm in Dallas. I think it's 2 weeks time. I might be this week. I'm driving Ferraris and Lamborghinis around the racetrack down there. You've got so in Fort Worth. So who knows? I may secretly come and stalk you. I mean, find you.
There we go. There we go. Well, awesome. You guys are listening to this. If you loved what Dr. Robb had to say, make sure to give him a call. Check out the book. Buy a copy for you and your friend. Make sure to rate and review it and share it on social media so we can get the message out there, help as many people as possible. Thank you guys for watching the show. We will see you on the next one. On that note, we're out.